Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm here today to talk about the biggest challenges that people face on the path to ascension. And yes, these are kind of blocks that ultimately slow us down from stepping into the highest version of ourselves. But they are also just blocks, challenges to us to be able to live a fulfilled, happy life here on earth. They're things that we, face on some level on pretty much a day-to-day basis that just really make life here much harder than it potentially could be and certainly should be. Because the truth is that we all deserve happiness. We all deserve to feel love. We all deserve to be abundant. We all deserve for our dreams to come true, Earth is a training ground, right? We come here as souls to experience things, to experience life in 3D, in a physical body, so that we can grow as a soul. We go through certain experiences to feel what it's like to go through them, to overcome the challenges of them, and ultimately we grow from the situation. We become a better, stronger person. But these particular blocks, I feel, are things that we face, on a daily basis. And they're kind of just part of being here, part of being human. But they can cause a great deal of turmoil, and facing them can often be, a full-blown crucifixion. It sounds like an extreme word to use, but, it can really, throw out our entire lives, and we kind of have to kill, that part of ourselves, overcome that massive thing in order to really step forward and live a better life. So the things that I've chosen in particular to highlight, and I'm just going to talk briefly about each one today, but over the coming months I'm going to be doing more videos in depth on each subject. But the number one thing that I'm sure everyone here will, at least at some point in their life, faced as a challenge, and that is abundance. And abundance, the term really can mean having lots of anything. We can have an abundance of joy, of love, of anything in our lives. But really, most of the time when we're talking about abundance, we're talking about financial abundance. And unfortunately, being on planet Earth, being in the 3D environment that we're in at the moment, having money is, a fundamental part of life. I've talked about this quite a lot in the past, and we are here to go through this ascension process, but we're not, to be giving away all of our possessions and going and living in a cave or a monastery or anything like that and getting to meditate 16 hours a day to do it. The whole point of this ascension process is to be here, to be on earth, to go through the experiences of what it is to be human and still hold that vibration, especially for us at this point in time, that are going through the early waves of this, because it's our job to overcome that and then help ascend the rest of the planet around us, all of the people, whether it's in our local communities or in your country or worldwide. No matter how big or small a group it is, your role, just purely by holding your vibration, is to wake up people around you. And to have to do that, that means we have to be with the people. We can't just go off and disappear and never talk to anyone again. We have to be here, and to be here does involve money. It's just a fact of life, unfortunately. And there's many spiritual teachers or, basically lots of people can say that as a spiritual person, you're not supposed to have money. You're supposed to be a monk or whatever, and you're supposed to give up all your worldly possessions because that's what it means to be spiritual, and you don't need all of these material items. But the truth is, you are here to have a human experience, right? And material things are part of being human. So to deny yourself of that is to deny yourself part of the richness of being human. You're missing out on something. You're missing out on a vital experience of life. So personally, I think, yes, you deserve to have things. You deserve to be able to have a beautiful home, to have, a car that makes you happy, to have holidays, to have, nice clothes. It's not just about being able to pay the bills. You actually deserve to have these things. It's part of being human that these material things do bring at least some sense of satisfaction, or getting to see the world, to travel and things like that. Everyone has the right to be able to go and do that, just to visit all these wonderful places. But the fact of being human means we have to have money to do it. So if it's your right to visit these places, it's your right to have money. You deserve that, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. But so many of us carry these challenges, these blocks to abundance, where we don't think that we deserve it, whether we're told that by some higher organisation or teacher or whatever, or quite common even from a past life. If you've taken some kind of vow, like a vow of poverty in a past life because you were maybe a monk or something like that, though that basically you are making a vow, a deal, a contract with God when you do that. And those contracts can still be running if you haven't broken them. So you essentially have signed a document to say that you're going to be poor for the rest of your life until you deal with that. So, these are all things, all blocks that actually, they kind of program us on some level to make us think that we don't deserve to be financially abundant, but we do. We absolutely do. And, by not being financially abundant, really prevents us from being able to truly experience the joys of this life. So that's block number one. Abundance is a big one. It's one that I'm sure many people will face. Even if you've got money, there's so many people out there that they've done a brilliant job of, using their third eye, whether they know it or not, to manifest large amounts of their money, and they're brilliant at it. But then they've got it and they're absolutely terrified of losing it. And of course, what happens? They manifest the circumstances, they lose it all. And then, of course, they haven't got it, so the fear's all gone, and then they manifest it all again because they get back onto that wavelength and they do it. And then the fear sets in, and it's a cycle for them the whole lives. This is so common. So actually, just because you've got money doesn't mean you don't still have blocks to abundance. So yeah, that's block number one, abundance. Block number two, speaking your truth. This is a massive one for so many people. For a range of circumstances, many of us have had things in our lives, whether it's relationships, parents, partners, jobs, all sorts of situations can prevent us from being able to speak our truth. Jobs is a classic one because if we are hired by someone, quite often it is our role to fit within a box and do what we're told, and we're not allowed to speak out against that. It's not our job to do so, so we have to shut everything down. Parents, it's a classic one as well. When you're a kid, not able to speak. Parents, even if you do speak, parents often don't listen to kids properly. Relationships, unfortunately, there's all sorts of reasons there why that may prevent you. Again, this can also be coming back from past life situations that you've had, bad relationships in a past life. You may still be carrying those imprints. Atlantis is a big one. If you are still around at the fall of Atlantis, we actually voluntarily chose to have a collar placed around our throat that basically prevented our throat chakra from working as well as it potentially could do, because the throat chakra is unbelievably powerful. Sound is unbelievably powerful, and when we master the throat, we use sound to create, to destroy, we can do unbelievably powerful things with it. So we chose to shut that down because we left Atlantis after the fall. We went out into the world, and the experiment began where we chose to shut ourselves down to a level where we dropped down back to the 3D blueprint of the seven chakras. We stopped using the higher ones, And yeah, the shackle around the throat was a classic way of doing that. And you may be feeling that as I'm speaking now. If you've been on this path for a while, doing lots of workshops, you may have been removed lots of layers from this, but it is a process and it could still be there at a level. But not being able to, as I say, because the throat chakra is so powerful, not being able to speak your truth is a massive block. And it prevents us from being able to step into our own power, to really truly embody our highest self, and to walk forward into a way of mastery. And it affects every area of our life. If we can't speak out in our work, in our relationships, whether you're getting up presenting, teaching, it can have a huge range of impacts. So yeah, another massive block that is so unfortunately common. Next one I want to talk about is self-love. This is a massive one, absolutely massive. And in truth, until we really truly love ourselves, we are unable to embody love and to love others as fully as we could do. And again, there's so many reasons why we may not truly love ourselves. And again, that often comes back down to relationships. We get told things by other people that are, usually complete lies, but yet we accept them as truth. We take them into us, and we hold on to them for our lives. And then the worst thing happens: we build onto them just because someone else has said it. We then reinforce it to ourselves, and our minds become the biggest abusers that we have in our lives. They're constantly telling us, we're not good enough, or we're ugly, or we're not a nice person. We berate ourselves, and it just builds and builds and builds into this kind of thing where we just really impact our own ability to love ourselves. And it's one of the biggest blocks to properly opening up our heart. But coming back to that place, overcoming those challenges, really allows us to step into our own power, open up our heart, and be love and shine our lights at the highest possible vibration. Next one I'm going to talk about is relationships. Now, this ties into a lot of the others, obviously, as we've just been talking about. Speaking your truth, it ties into that. Self-love, it ties into that. And when we choose to come down here, we have certain contracts that we decide, things that we want to do within this life, blocks to overcome, challenges to face for our overall soul growth. And quite often the way that we do this is we team up effectively with other souls that we agree, right, we'll come down and I'll push your buttons there if you push my buttons here. And we kind of establish situations that will challenge us in order to allow us to rise above them and overcome and eventually grow as a soul. And that means that when we're here, a large number of the relationships in our life can be unbelievably challenging, especially when it comes to family. And a lot of this comes back down to the relationship with the sacral chakra as well, and the energies that we hold within it. And of course that contains an energetic blueprint of not just this lifetime, but many, many lifetimes past. And we've all been doing this for such a long time now, and we've been doing this at 3D for such a long time now. So you could have hundreds or thousands of lifetimes of negative relationships from 3D within your sacral chakra, and you carry this blueprint. And of course that blueprint then helps to manifest negative situations, negative relationships in your life this time, drawing people to you which challenge you and don't necessarily nourish you. But that's what relationships should nourish you. Relationships should be good. We should be able to step into a position where we can take a step back because of a place of self-love. So many of these are tied together. From a place of self-love, we can go, you know what, that relationship does not serve me. And that is often the goal to overcome with that relationship as well, is to go, that does not help me. I do not want this in my life. I deserve better. Coming back to self-love again. I deserve better than this and I don't want this, and I let that go. And that is the challenge that you overcome. And when you master that, you can then draw new relationships into your life. Through that process, through the clearing of the sacral chakra, you can then start to draw relationships that are healthy for you. You can bring in your soul family, draw people that nourish you, that support you, that love you, and that enrich your life in the highest possible level. So that is block number 4, relationships. Next one I want to talk about is and this is one that doesn't get talked about very often, but being on planet Earth. Massive block. How many of us really struggle to remain grounded? I mean, truly grounded, truly present in their body, feeling strong, feeling confident. It's such a hard thing to overcome. And the truth is, it's because life on Earth is very, very hard. Especially the last 10 years has been unbelievably challenging. And quite frankly, it's understandable to not want to be here. And a large part of that is because of the other blocks that we've already talked about, right? All of those things make it really hard to be here. We don't want to be here. We disassociate. We step out of our body. And that means things are less painful. It makes it easier to deal with, but it means we're not grounded. And when we're not grounded, when we're not really in our bodies, that can then lead to some health problems and things like that. And generally, we just feel out of phase, difficult to think, and just less confident. But it is possible to overcome that. And this is something, you kind of work on this with all the other ones that we've talked about. Once you start overcoming those challenges, you can feel more comfortable to be on planet Earth, and you can remove the specific blocks, the reasons why you wouldn't want to be here, and allow you to then go just to feel in your body, to go, you know what, being a human being is awesome. Because look how beautiful it is. Look at this amazing world that we live in. We have trees, we have oceans, we have the soil, we have flowers, we have birds, we have beautiful, beautiful people absolutely everywhere. We have the opportunities to travel and see incredible things. We have a wealth of information available at our fingertips all the time. We are truly blessed, and this is a magnificent planet, and we are very, very lucky to be here. But I don't know about you guys, I don't feel that very often. It is hard to be here. So that is a big challenge, but it is, until we are able to accept all of these things and truly remain in our body, it really prevents us from stepping into our highest self. Last one I want to talk about is blocks to perfect health. Being able to be physically, mentally, emotionally, and therefore spiritually healthy. All of these things that we've talked about, they all create disruption within our fields, where they create stress, they create anxiety, that gets into our body, that goes into our guts, that affects our overall gut health, our microbiome, that affects our nervous system, our vagus nerve, that affects our brain and our ability to think properly, creates anxiety, creates mental health. That then triggers, all sorts of different situations we manifest around ourselves, which creates all sorts of other problems. It is really, really hard to be in perfect health in such a challenging environment. And we have so many blocks to this, whether it's related to the other things that we've talked about, whether it's past life stuff because of, you can still, as crazy as this sounds, you can still energetically be carrying the energy of a disease from multiple lifetimes ago, because everything is energy. It doesn't matter whether it's a physical virus, whether it's you broke your leg or an arm, or you got shot, or whatever it is. We've had so many lifetimes, so many things have happened to us, and we still carry these energies of these things. Some people are born with, maybe an issue with their knee or something like that, never had an injury in their life. Where does that come from? Well, it's because of an imbalance in the energy of the body, right? We're all a perfect knit of so many different things that are created by harmonious bonds, but when those bonds get disrupted through negative energy imprints that we're carrying, it disrupts the whole system. Bringing everything back into balance is a way of bringing perfect health. And so there's so many things so many blocks that we can have to perfect health, whether it's old energies that we're carrying on to, whether it's mindset stuff, whether we believe we deserve to be healthy. That's massive. And that ties all the way back into, self-love again. Have I suffered? Do I like myself? Am I happy with myself? Therefore, do I feel like I deserve to be healthy? And if you don't, then you're probably not going to be, and these can be deep, deep subconscious blocks that we carry. So there's so many things, and all of these, as I've said, going throughout, these things are intertwined, but they all have a massive block to us being able to truly step into ourselves and to truly feel joy in our lives. And you deserve to be happy. Okay, every single person hearing this, you are a beautiful soul made of divine love. And you deserve to have a human experience that brings you joy. And the thing that we have to remind ourselves, that the challenge that we are trying to overcome, is that we are a boiling pot of thousands and thousands of years of scenarios, things that have happened. If you think about just a number of things that have happened in your lifetime that you remember and have impacted your ability to function on a day-to-day basis, that's just this lifetime. How many lifetimes have you had? How old is your soul? Whether that's on planet Earth or in different places. And we are going through an unbelievable process these 10 years of clearing it all. I'm sure you will all be aware of a massive amount of energy you've released, specific scenarios that you've overcome. But that is like an iceberg, you're aware of what's happened under the surface. Icebergs, like 90% of the volume of an iceberg is under the water and you can't see it. And that is what you've already done, what you've already achieved. You have cleared so much stuff without even knowing it. You are doing an amazing job. You truly are a magnificent being, and you deserve to be happy in this life. And through working through these challenges, these are things that you will already be facing on some level. I'm sure you get challenges that pop up in your day-to-day life where you have to kind of face, and these things are terrifying. They really truly can be. So what's the point about talking about all this today? You may have seen it already, but I am very, very pleased to be saying that I am running a 6-month workshop series starting on the 1st of June called The Path to Freedom, where in each workshop we are going to be working through one of these blocks that we talked about today, starting with abundance on June 1st. And we are going to be working with a divine blueprint for each one. We are going to be connecting to the perfect ideal of what each one of these are going to be, without any of the human drama and trauma that we've experienced. We are just going to connect with the perfect version of it, and we are going to download that into our systems, and we are going to allow that to integrate and to help reprogram us over the top of what we've done in the past, so that we have and we can hold the perfect vibration for each one of these things. We're going to be working with Master Merlin, who's going to be leading this process, but much like my 4-week series that I did recently, there will be lots and lots of other souls that are stepping forward. Because now is the time, this is the year, we are in a transition year right now. We've done 10 years of deep clearing, and with this year we are so close, and we're stepping into a new path where we're moving forward, stronger, confident, empowered and ready to get on with our lives. And this is the year. This is the year where everyone stepped forward, all the higher beings that are with us here more than ever to support us through this journey. And they are here to help us let go of this so that we can step into our highest self. This is the year to do it. And funnily enough, this workshop series will be running through the year now, 6 months. We are in mid-May. We've got 6 workshops. The 6th one, Perfect Health, is going to be on November 2nd. But what I'm doing, so you can sign up for this if you want to come and join us. I've got 2 options on how you can do it. You can sign up for the whole 6 workshop series in one go if you want to, or you can pay in 2 payments, one for the first 3 and then one for the second 3. But if you sign up for all 6 workshops, whether all in one or both packed to the smaller one, I'm going to throw in a free workshop at the very end as well in December, where we're going to bring in lots and lots of blessings. They recognise the work that we're going to be doing throughout this year. And whenever we do deep clearing like this, we're creating space within our systems, and that allows for more light to come in. And they are going to bless us, they are going to fill us with light and offer us gifts to help us step forward. And that last free workshop should be really beautiful, really fun, light experience, really lovely. So, 7 workshops in total if you come along for the whole thing, and it should be a really powerful and transformative system, an opportunity for us to really overcome the biggest challenges of our lives. To step forward in strength, in confidence, in love, in peace, in joy, and in freedom. And that is the path of freedom, starting June 1st. Thank you so much for joining me for this video today. A pleasure as always. I will be back again next week with another free video from my channel. If you're interested in the workshop series, I'll pop all the details in the description below. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe, to follow me either on Facebook or YouTube at New Moon Art. And I can't wait to see you guys again. Thank you so much, and sending you all so much love. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.